Clear to everyone, right? Compilation versus interpretation. Is that clear? Right? Now these are the questions or these are the concepts which apply to the whole programming domain. It is not just applicable to Python. Okay. So if you tomorrow go and learn Java, you will see that these phrases are there also. They are applied twice as they are applied in Python as well. Okay. So you will not change that thinking, or that approach will not change with the change in the language. If the language is compiled and interpreted, you will find the same thing applicable over there as well. Okay. So we talked about that, and in the end we did some practical on prompt, right, with the help of ID, or we tried to understand the data model. So Python follows the reference model. So one is a value model and another is a reference model. So the advantage of reference model is whenever you are passing something to a function, right, everything goes by what? Reference. So if you change that thing in function, it will reflect to original one. Okay. In case of value model, what is passed? The value of that location. So as it's a value, it doesn't matter if that is changed later, because the original variable is not going to get affected. Right? We had seen the example where we had taken a equal to 10 and then do b equal to a. Now had it been a value model, what happens in this scenario? A has his memory, B has his memory. When you do a equal to 10, A gets the value 10. When you do b equal to a, the value of a is copied in b. This is the example of a value model, and where a will have his own address, b is going to also have his own address. In case of reference model, what happens is 10 will be laid out in a memory, right? A will be pointing to that. And when you do b equal to a, b will also start pointing to same location. So this value need not be laid out multiple times. And the advantage is what? You share that location. Now later if someone changes, let's say later you do b equal to 20, then in that case what will happen? There will be 20 which will be laid out in memory and we will start pointing to it. This is what happens in reference model, and this is the scenario of value model. I hope it's clear to everyone. It's clear, right? Data model versus value model. Okay. C has both. C follows value model by default, reference model through pointers. Okay. Python by default follows what? Reference model. Okay. For primitive types, it will try to have value model, but if you go above 3.x, it will be all what? Reference model. Okay. No. See, passing by reference is one way. Okay. But now, when we look at Python, there are different ways to pass an argument. See, one thing that you need to understand, whatever you pass will go by reference. But Python has a mechanism by which, though it is a reference, you can specify which argument should be given what value. So we'll see that later. Okay. But you can say at a generic level that as it's a reference model, everything that is passed by reference. Okay. Is that clear? Clear to everyone? So generally when now what we have seen what is the compilation, what is interpretation, right? Now we have reached at a point where we should start understanding the data types of a language, because at the end we want to do what? We want to write a program where we are processing on the data, right? And then we show the output. Now to do the processing on the data, we should know what kind of data we can represent in a language. So primitive is what? Integer. Now, we all are aware that Python is a language where we don't have to explicitly mention the name of the data type. You don't need to write a, when you do a equal to 10, a is automatically of type integer. Okay. If you want to check what is that type, so if you have done this, there is one built-in function known as type. Just run type of a, and you will see that it prints type int or class int, depending on the 2.7 and 3.x. Shall I you there? Usually on last bench, only one person should sit because others can then get in. Oh, correct. पाऊस लागला का? So anybody coming from Kharadi side? You people, Dharma, where you are staying? Vishrantwadi. And from Wakad side, how many of you are coming? Okay. So those who are coming from same side, right, they can probably form a group also. And if there is a cab, they can share a cab, or if they have a car, they can share it. So try to identify and try to have a sharing. As it's a rainy season, it's better. Huh? I come from Parvati. So I am staying very nearby. So I come from, so basically I am coming from Sarkar Nagar. So if anybody wants me to pick, I can pick them. But the only point is they will have to be ready by 7:30 because I am here by 7:45. Okay. So Python has integer data type. Okay. The range of integer is considerably big because if you see, it's not just primitive int where it has 4 bytes of memory. When we see in C, when I write int a, I know that it is 4 bytes of memory. Okay. But here it's somewhere around 24, 28 bytes because it's not just a primitive type, it is class int. So there are other things which are associated with it. There are other things which are associated with it, and that's why the size of integer is more. Okay, the range is also more. Okay, so has everyone checked this? Right? Then if you do a equal to 3.14 and just then again do type of a, so what it says? Float. So floating point numbers are also there. So when we consider the primitive data types, the most important thing is what? Integer, character, float, right? We'll come to character, but float, double is what we hear. Okay. Then Python has this one. Just try to do this. C is equal to 10 plus 3i. And then do type of C. Okay, then do 3j. So in mathematics, to define complex number, we use I, whereas Python has a primitive data type for complex number. Okay, it's just that it is with J. Now, whether we will use it, most probably not. Okay, if required, you should be aware that there is a built-in complex data type in Python. Okay, what is a complex number which has a real part and imaginary part? We learn complex numbers in 8th standard. So I can understand that you will not remember it. Okay. But still, just to have an information that there is a complex number data type available in Python. Why it gave error on I? Because they thought that using J is better. So it's again a grammar. It's a language grammar. Okay. Now when we learn in mathematics, we use I, n plus 3i. Okay. But when he wrote the language grammar to define complex data type, he made a syntax as J. Now if Guido van Rossum had thought of making it K, we would have to use K. Okay. So some questions are, or some things are like, they are like that only. You cannot have like, why it's like that. Okay. Now he liked J. So like he named Python, right? You cannot have any answer to it. And he liked that Monty Python Python series, so he named it Python. Now if you go and ask him why you liked it, that he might not answer. He liked it, he had named it. Okay. Yeah. Is this clear? Clear to everyone? Now coming to character. In Python, there is no single character as a data type. In Python, everything is a string. When you give single quotes or you give double quotes, it's a string. So if I write A equal to C or A equal to double quote C, if I write A equal to C or A equal to double quote C, both mean same. Both mean same. If you try to print their type, you will see that it's type str or class str. Python मध्ये there is no single character. So when there are two constants. One is character constants, another is string constant. Yes. Am I? Usually the difference is what? In case of character constant, there is only single byte of memory allocated. Whereas in case of string constant, there are 2 bytes of memory allocated. One for the character and one for the \0. \0 is the end of the string character or string terminating character. Okay. So character constant doesn't have \0. Okay. String constants have \0. Now Python do not distinguish between string constant and character constant. That's why in Python, string and characters are same. Okay. So if you have a single character also, it's still what? A string. That means in case of Python, you write it like this, it is still what? Having a \0. So double quotes and single quotes are exactly same in Python. That doesn't mean that you can do something like this. They mean exactly same. So you might start with single quote and end with double quote. That doesn't mean that is valid. Okay. So don't do this. But this is same. Now important point to understand about string is, let's take name is equal to TRINAHA. Let's say this is a name. Now, how this gets laid out in memory? TRINAHA and then \0. So there is an internally indexing that happens with the characters. For each character, there is an indexing that happens. Okay. So if you want to print just one of the character on your Python prompt, you can just do name of 0 or try to do name of 3 and then try to give an index which is not present, name of let's say 15. Just keep on doing what I'm telling and just observe what it prints. So it is printing the individual characters. So what we understand is strings are indexed. Strings are indexed internally, okay, and the indexing starts with 0. Indexing starts with 0. Strings are immutable. Strings are what? Immutable. What I mean by that, now you printed it, okay, but if I try to change it, like if I try to change name of 0 equal to J. Okay, for name of 15, what you observed? What you observed? Okay, Junaid, and you are having mobile or laptop. Okay, so can you just, Amay, can you just make sure that they are able to see what you are doing? Yeah. So just try to adjust. If you are not having a laptop, try to just take help of someone. And people are cooperative, so don't worry. They will surely support you. Yeah. Shahrukh, you are able to see. So when you saw this name of 15, what's the error? Out of range, right? Out of range index error. Okay, so it's an index error. That's actually an exception. We'll see what is that later. Okay, and then when you do this name of 0 equal to J, what do you see? Does not support item assignment. Okay, because strings are what? Immutable. They cannot be changed. You can change whole. That means you can change name to point something else, but you cannot change the individual characters in string. You cannot change the individual characters in string. You can make name to point something else, like name equal to Jitendra or your name. This is valid. Because here am I changing individual character? No. I am making name to point to a completely different memory area. So this is valid. But changing individual character is not valid operation. Now this indexing is there in all languages. You'll find it in Java, you'll find it in C, you'll find it in C++, you'll find it everywhere. Okay, Python has something extra. Python has something extra. Tell me what is the output of this. Name of -3. Name of -1. Is everyone able to start Python prompt, right? Because yesterday there were a few on whose machine the Python prompt was not up. It's up, right, on everyone's machine. So if you see name of -1, it is this A. So Python is doing something known as reverse indexing. This is -1, this is -2, -3, -4, -5, -6, and -7. And this reverse indexing is very powerful. That's very helpful thing. So if you want to print any, you just give the respective negative indexes. You will see that it is printing the respective characters. And again here, if you give out of range, it will give the same error. Is everyone able to understand this? Right, the negative indexing? Yes? Yeah? No, backslash 0 is like, it is not counted in length because length doesn't tell you the index. So length is 7. Size, yes, if you try to see the memory layout size, then yes, backslash 0 is in that memory layout. In length, it will not be counted, but in size, yes, it will be there. It has to be there. Otherwise, then the memory calculations will go wrong. It will not, yeah, so it will not allow you to access it because that check is based on length, not on size. Is it clear? Clear to everyone? Clear to everyone? Okay. Now, so when we look at this, with string, with this syntax, right, Python supports few more things. Okay. And the most important stuff over there is you can give in between a colon, and this helps you to actually slice your data. This helps you to do what? Slice your data. So let's say I want only NaHA. So what I do is name 3 colon. Just try this. Name 3 colon. What's the output? NaHA. So 3 is what? My start index. Okay. And I didn't give anything over here. So it went till end. It went till end. Now I give something like this. Name of 1:3. Name of 1:3. Now what do you see? RI. So if you see, 3 was my end index, 1 was my start index. So start index is coming, but end index is not coming. Are you getting it? Start index is coming. Is everyone able to see this RI output? Everyone, right? Here, Vikram, Mage, Akshay. Okay, here also, right? Everyone. Kala? Yete na? So, what we observe is start index is inclusive, end index is exclusive. Okay. Why? Because when you say 3, right? 1 to 3, it's a range. So 1 to 3 means what? If you do a subtraction, 3 minus 1, 2 characters. Right? That's why end index is what? Exclusive. It's an index. It's not the actual character length. It's an index, right? So it's actually 4th location. If you see, it's actually a 4th character. Now when you say 1 to 3, that means you want what? 1 to 3 characters. So starting with 1 up to 3. That's why it's exclusive. So start index is inclusive. End index is exclusive, or it's excluded. Now can I do this with negative indices? Yes. Whatever you did with positive indices, you can do with negative indices. Now just try, those who are playing, right, they should try, or I think many of you might have tried giving reverse, right? Giving the start index which is after the end index. Did you try that? Yes, that's our mindset. We'll first try to break it. नाही मी -3 चा नाही म्हणते. How many of you did something like this? 5:1. So what we did here, we tried to give what? A start index which is greater than actually what? End index. See 5:1 उलट चालू शकतो का? नाही. आत्ता तरी नाही. Because when I look at this, start index should be before end index. So start index, is it before end index? No. And that's why this gives nothing. The output comes as nothing. It doesn't give any error, but it doesn't show any output also. Can you see that? Can you see that, everyone? Right? Can you see that? Okay. So, along with this start index and end index, okay, there is one more thing that we can specify to this syntax. Just try to do this. Name of colon, and then give 2. Can you put on the remaining tube lights? That row only, yeah. Yes. So people will not go in sleep. Sukola Silkaitari. It's printing what? TIAA. Can you observe what is happening? TIAA. So it is behaving like a step value. While going to the next character, right? Whether to go by 1 or whether to go by 2. As you gave it 2. Now here I haven't specified start index. I haven't specified end index. When you don't specify, default start index is 0. Default end index is length of the string. Okay. So 0 to 6 is by default it's there. Now what it did, it started with 0. Then to reach this, instead of increasing by 1, it increased by 2. And that's why it printed TIAA. So general slicing syntax becomes this. Start index, end index, excluded, and step value. Anybody standing? Okay. Yes, come in. Janadir Tala. Yeah, you can sit with Amay. Roshan is sitting in front. Yeah. It's a step value. So basically, step value is what? While incrementing, by how much you want to increase. Default step value is always what? 1. Default step value is 1. 0 असेल तर मग तिथेच राहील. If step value is 0, it will remain there only, right? Step value cannot be 0. If you want to try, just try with 0. What happens? Just see. जर का hang झाला तर बंद करून चालू कर. So, that's what I said. See, it's an index. Okay. So when you say 1, 2, 3, okay. So what does that mean? You want how many characters? If you do the difference, 2 characters. Now just see from 1 to 3. If I include the third one also, how many characters I am going to get? That's why I have written there excluded. End index is always excluded. Why? Yeah. Because in last example, we didn't specify any end index. So when you don't specify any end index, it is the length of the string. So my length of the string is what? 7. Okay. So 7, if you see, it is actually this one. So did 7 came in? No. If you are slicing, you just do this also. Try to just do 4:7. But when you are accessing 7, you are getting an error. But when you are slicing with 4:7, you are not getting an error. Because when I say 4 to 7, that means I want how many characters? 3 characters. So when I'm starting with 4, 3 characters end at 6. It's upper bound. So I don't want 7th index, but I want the characters up to 7th index. See, if you start indexing from 1, then you will not get confused. But indexing starts from 0. Indexing starts from 0, and that's why this end index is kept exclusive, or it's excluded. Because at the end, when you are giving the range, that means what? You want those number of characters. Okay, when you gave the range 4 to 7, that means you wanted how many characters? 3 characters. Now just assume if what you say, let's include it. Let's include the last index also. Yeah. Last character means what? \0 will be, see, it will be present. Okay, it will have an index. If you go and access that index directly, you will not be able to access. So if you go and do name of 7, you will get an error. But when you are giving it in a slicing, right, it becomes an upper bound. Yeah. No, you should not give actually more than size of. If you are giving more than size of, it will probably give you only that, the complete set. Then you don't give also. If you don't give also, it will take you to the end. If you don't give also, it's going to take you to the end. Okay. So don't try to associate this with exactly index error. Okay. This is actually what you are telling is, give me 4 characters. Now if there are 3, it will give you 3. Okay, if there are 2, it will give you 2. And if there are 100, it will give you only 4. That's the range. Okay. Is that clear? So step value is what? Increasing the start index to reach the end index with this as a step value. So step value can be given anything. You can give 1, 2, 3, anything. Okay, you cannot give 0. You can give negative number. Yes.
I tried 4 colon 10, 4 colon 12. It is printing the same value. So what is the
Yes. See, so when you do this 4:10, 4:12, now when you are putting something as an end index which is beyond your string size, string length, right? It will just ignore that and it will go till end. It will go till end, it will print that set of characters. Okay. Because this is slicing. This is not index-based accessing. In case of index-based accessing, you got an index error. This is you are trying to slice your data. So you want to extract part of it. Now while extracting part of it, you are giving start index proper and end index which is invalid. So how much it can give, it will give you. Okay. Now try to do a negative step value. Try to play with the negative step value. So do something like this. Name 5, 1, -1. 5, 1 didn't work before this, but now you will see that it works. 5, 1, -1. What do you see? Yes. So it was 5 to 1. Step value was what? -1. So 5 is actually lower bound when you consider step value as -1. So 5 minus 1, 4, 3, 2, 1. So it will come till this only. So you'll see that HANI is what is the output. Can you see that, everyone? The output is HANI. Arun, you are able to start Python from? Okay. So you are doing this. Okay. अम्मा चला जरा मदद कर रहे. हाँ. So you will see that you can give negative indexing as well, and the advantage of negative indexing is it reverses or it goes in reverse direction. Okay. Now try to do this. -2, -7, -2. So -2 is my start index, -7 is my end index, and my step value is also what? -2. So it is printing alternate characters, -2, -7, -2. Right? Can you write a string slicing statement which reverses my string? Can you write a string slicing statement which reverses this string? Give a try. Did you got the question? You have to write a string slicing statement which prints the string in reverse order.
-2 -6 आणि -2
हाँ.
-2 ने टी येणार. ठीक आहे. हाफ स्किप झाला यू येणार. हाफ स्किप झाला टी पण यायला पाहिजे ना.
नहीं ना. End index is what? Exclusive. See, now in that case your end index is on the reverse side, but still it is exclusive.
म्हणजे देताना जो स्टार्ट इंडेक्स ना तो मायनस राईट साइड.
See, when you give step value as negative, the movement is in the reverse direction. Okay. So when the movement is in the reverse direction, your start index should be from this side, from the reverse side, and the index should be towards the beginning side.
We have not mentioning that range, then we print everything in correct way. But in case of reverse, is there anything?
Try it out. What you are telling is actually the solution. Just try to do it. Don't give anything and just give step value as yeah, colon -1, colon -1 reverses your string. That -1 is actually not needed. Colon -1. because you want to reverse everything, right? So don't give start index, don't give end index because you want to include everything. Just give step value as what? -1. Everything will come in reverse direction. Okay. Now, is there any advantage of this? Yes, there are many advantages. So this one was one where you can reverse it, right? Another advantage of slicing is let's say we are getting or we have the set of URLs, okay, all are with www.google.com, then www.facebook.com, and there are many such. And assuming that all are what? Filtered on .com. So all are what? .com URLs. Now I just want to extract the domain name. I only want the domain name of that, not the com one, but I want the actual name of the site. So can we do that? Can you write a slicing expression for this? So write a Python script. What you will be doing? You will be writing extract webname.py. There you will be doing what? Name is equal to or URL is equal to input, enter URL, and then there will be a print statement. So this is what you have to fill in, where it will just print what? The name of the site with the prefix going and the suffix going. And here assumption is what? Each URL is prefixed with www dot and it is ending with .com. तुमच्या तिघींमध्ये लॅपटॉप असेल ना एक तरी आहे ना? हां, म्हणजे नेक्स्ट वीक पासून घेऊन या. Because these things are fine, you can do it on mobile, but when you start writing script, right, then it becomes difficult to do it on mobile. नाही व्हॅल्यू म्हणून तर हे मी का लिहून दिलं, so that you do not hardcore the URL. That's why I've written this part for you. How to accept an input? We use the input function. Input is a function provided by Python which is used to accept. In the first lecture we had written a program hello and your name. So whatever name you enter, it says hello to that name. So same we are using here, okay, and we are trying to use it. Now there might be some things needed on 3.x and on 2.7 while entering you will have to enter in double quotes. Those who are working on 2.7 while entering, please enter string in double quotes. Those who are working on 3.x, right, if you are getting error over here, then let me know. First write the expression because that is important. म्हणजे काय पाहिजे तुम्हाला? You have to fill in the gap. Now I am again reducing it. Now you have to just fill these two gaps. What should be here? समझ रहे क्या? हाँ. हाँ, think. Done? Good. You are trying on 3 or 2? Okay. You can try it on both simultaneously. किस पे कर रहा है? 2 या 3?
3.
Okay. Go there. Good. It was going to work. Good. See, input enter URL. That means that input is a function which will show you that enter URL. So it will accept from user. So if you run this, just do here print URL. And so you are using 3.7, 3.x. So you need a bracket over here. Okay, and second thing is this is not valid. This is a message that comes to user. This shown by prompt to user that you want to enter something. Okay, now run this. See, now you enter here, right? Let's say you enter www something, some junk. So you see it is printing that. So now that is coming, input is coming. Now you have to think of, slicing it such that if it is www.google.com, you just get Google as an output.
Sir, assumption.
नहीं भाई, अभी मैंने दूसरा इनपुट दिया तो नहीं, मैंने फेसबुक दिया, sc.com दिया, www.sc.com. वही बोल रहा हूँ मैं. I don't need a logic which is based on count, or there is a simple logic which doesn't need count at all. You just need to think. Try to take help of negative indices. Don't shout, and don't share your answer with nearby people. Good. नाही, पण ह्याचा प्रॉब्लेम काय आहे, तुला लेंथ फिक्स करायला लागेल. 4:10 ला तुला लेंथ फिक्स करायला लागेल. मी sc.com दिलं तर sc.com, www.sc.com, it will not work. काय रे, काय झालं? एंटर URL ला डबल कोट दे. So similarly try to go on increasing, right? You are going on right path. Now one more gone. Now you need to ignore one more on start side also. झालं, संपलं. That's the solution. Then you will have to change that logic. That's why I said, right? So, keep that. Yes. This is just to understand the slicing. When usually this kind of things come, right, you will use regular express. And then you will extract in, com, au, anything that comes in, you will extract it separately. Through RE, you will parse it, and you will group it actually, and you will print everything individually. It might happen www might not come. हा मग तेच ते
पण इथे मला सेपरेटर जेव्हा मी देईन ना तेव्हा डॉट हा सेपरेटर म्हणून मला वापरायचा आहे असं काय करता येईल का?
डॉट हा सेपरेटर म्हणून वापरायचं ते आत्ता नाही करता येणार. आत्ता आपण जेवढं शिकलोय हा त्याने नाही करता येणार. हा इट्स ऍक्च्युली सिम्पल जस्ट दॅट ट्रिगर होत नाही डोक्याला पटकन. सांगितल्यानंतर कळतं की अरे हे तर चिल्लर होतं. झालं का रे? हा आर यू ओके सी you are right here.
Yeah.
Then again you went -3. Okay, try to keep this as, because see this word is right. When you keep 4, so you are getting this. So this is fixed. Now try to fix the other part, right?
Yeah.
Instead of that you change this part also.
No, actually I was thinking to remove form and WW both.
Exactly. So to remove www dot, you got the solution. That was 4. Right? Now to improvise on that, you are changing the first solution also. So your approach is going wrong. Array, it's simple. 4 colon minus 4. Run नाही झाला. It's simple. तुला डब्ल्यू डबल कोट्स मध्ये द्यायला लागेल इनपुट. परत रन कर आणि डबल कोट्स मध्ये दे. See, if you are running on 2.7, right, and you are using input function, you have to explicitly give double quotes for string. Otherwise, it tries to evaluate whatever you have entered to its binding. So it thinks that you have entered some variable name, and it tries to see whether that variable is present or not. And that's why you see a name error coming in. Whereas on 3.x, the input function of 3.x is like raw input of 2.7. So whatever you give on input prompt of 3.x, right, it treats it as stream of bytes. And strings are stream of bytes. That's why it was 5. Otherwise, usually on 3.x, you will have to apply later, which we will see, eval keyword on the input to evaluate to respective type. Is that clear? Clear to everyone? So is 4 colon minus 4 clear to everyone? Okay? Okay. So this was just a small intro to string. So there are many things that we will be seeing, but prior to going to that part, we will now first see the operator. Okay, we'll try to then see the control flow part, which should happen in the next week, and then we start writing the programs. Okay, this is clear. So as a primitive type is string clear. Okay, and the slicing, because that's the important thing. This is actually a interview question also. You get asked in an interview about slicing, just to check. Usually not to the more experienced people, but with an experience of 2-3 years, you might get the slicing question, just to check whether you are knowing or not. So in Python, you will see that primitive types are there. Okay, and other than, why Python is more popular, because it provides a set of containers which actually solves our many issues related to data representation. For example, dynamic array, we need it, right? We need it because if I am getting some input over a network, if some data is coming over a network, I want to store it, I want to maintain it in RAM, I need an array which can grow at runtime whenever that data is coming in, right? So Python provides rich set of containers, and that's why it is the most popular language. So string is a container, list, tuple, dictionary. Then there are variances on this, like order dict, okay, byte array. There are many other things. but these are the primitive containers, okay, which are not known as data types, but they are the base of the framework, okay, which from that we have already slightly explored string and we'll be exploring it more later. List is a dynamic array. Tuple is a immutable list. Tuple is a immutable list and dictionary is a hash table. Everything which is a key value pair is a dictionary. So once we are able to store the data, the next important thing that comes is we want to operate on that data. We want to process on that data so that we can produce some output and show that output in some better form. So to operate, we need what? Operators. Now what is an operator or what is an expression? An expression is a collection of operators and operands. Okay, so written together they form what? Operand. So it's an expression. So while learning operators, we should first consider these three things because they form the important part. Arity. What is an arity? पहिल्यांदा ऐकलं शब्द. Arity is number of operands an operator takes. Number of operands an operator takes. So you usually have unary, binary, and ternary. Ternary is not there in Python. Okay, that's why I will not mention it. But in C we have it ternary, question mark colon. So unary and binary are the two categories. Unary are the operators which take single operand, like you can consider this negation, right? I know that you people will say that these are also there, plus plus minus minus. Plus plus is what? Increase by 1, minus minus is what? Decrease by 1. These two are not there in Python. They are not there in Python. Okay, but they are, or they fall under unary. That's why I've just mentioned it. Binary are, or plus, or most of them are binary only. Okay, so arity is what? Number of operands an operator takes. What is precedence? So when in an expression, if two or more operands of same priority comes in, which one to solve first? So if I have something like this, B star D divided by C, or let's say 10 star 5 divided by 2. Which one to do first? Now you need to recall 4th standard. Can you recall? BODMAS, right? So we follow this rule, and this rule is actually for what? Priority or precedence. Precedence is priority. Okay, so precedence defines what? Priority. Actually I gave wrong example, sorry. So this example is there. This example is actually of associativity. The example of priority will be this. 5 plus 3 star 2. We will do what? 3 star 2 first. And then we will do 5 plus. So this is an example of priority where star has higher priority than plus. Okay. And now when we come to this example, right? This is where whether we should do 10 into 5 first or 5 by 2 first? Okay. So that is known as actually associativity, whether to go right to left or to go left to right. There are two things. One is priority. What is priority? Which one to be done first? Okay, that exactly priority distinguishes very clearly. If someone has high priority, that has to happen first. Okay, but what happens when two priority means two operators of same priority come into an expression? Then which one to do first? That is decided by whether to go in right to left direction or in left to right direction. So whether to do 10 into 5 first or 5 by 2 first. Now, as you look at this, you will see that what is happening. If I do 10 into 5 by 2, I will get 25. But if I do 5 by 2 first, as everything is integer, this will be 10 into 2, that will be 20. Because 5 by 2 will be 2.5, but 0.5 will be ignored, right? Only integral part will be considered, and then 10 into 2 becomes what? 20. Are you getting? So, associativity defines the direction, whether to go in left to right or right to left. And if you can recall, I know that you will not be able to recall, we had a table of operators, and with every operator there was written whether it is a left to right or right to left. So that's what I'm telling. It's printing 25. Okay, it's printing 25 because it's going in this direction. So it is considering, it will consider 2.5. Okay. Why? Because that's you are doing it on Python. For Python, it will consider the result as the float and it will multiply. Now you take this 3 as integer. Take 3 this as integer and then do it. And do it in C program. Then you will see the difference. Okay. So while trying to understand few things, you will find that Python is doing something differently. Because Python is like, it has broader its view, and that's why it tries to adapt more things in it. Okay. So don't worry about that. Just try to get into the, what can be the possibilities. Okay. We can do explicit typecasting. So if you do explicit typecasting, that's what will happen is it will give the output as 20. And Python is a dynamically typed language. So what happens is it will dynamically convert that type to float. I won't fix the type, right? I won't fix the type. Whereas if you go to languages like compiled, you fix the type. And when you fix the type, their range is fixed. They cannot go beyond that. Okay. Okay. So can anybody tell me which all operators associate right to left? किंवा left to right? ज्यांना कोणाला आठवतंय? कोणाला आठवतंय का? Anybody can recall? नाही? No. Okay. So I made it easier for myself, and I think that is easier for everyone. Remember right to left because there are many left operator in that, and all other are left to right. Okay. What left are there? Unary, ternary. Now ternary we don't have here, so you can forget it. And combinational assignments. Or compound assignments. म्हणजे कुठले? Plus equal, minus equal. So when you do a plus equal 10. So this plus equal is what? Combinational assignment or compound assignment. That's it. Unary, ternary, combinational assignments. They associate right to left. All other associate left to right. Now, those who have in their older books written this table, they can go and check it. They can go and just cross check it. Or you take out your Dennis Ritchie if you have it, right? In Dennis Ritchie, I think in 3rd chapter at the end there is a table given. So you can see that also. So this is like a core of the operator, and then comes what? Categories. So after this, right? After this layer, there comes what? Categories of operators or classes of operators. Or classification of operators. So the very first one is what? Arithmetic. So you can just immediately play on your prompt. Okay. In arithmetic, we'll see that in arithmetic, in unary category, there is no operator present with Python. Okay. If you try to just to play, right, take a equal to 10 and try to do minus minus a, tell me what is the error. Then try to do a minus minus, tell me what is the error. Okay. Then try to do a plus plus, tell me what is the error. And try to do plus plus a, tell me what is the error. Minus minus a. Okay, minus minus a plus plus a. There is no syntax error. Okay, what's the output? Has value of a changed? Either increase, decrease? No. So is there any effect? Is there any effect of it? Are you understanding? So नाही असाइन केल्यावर पण नाही येणार इथे. तुम्ही असाइन पण करा. ओके, लेट्स ट्राय आउट दॅट ऑल्सो. डू बी इक्वल टू प्लस प्लस ए. And tell me whether b's value is 11 or not. If it is still 10, then the assignment is, then what she says is also not valid. It's still 10. Now why that is happening? Why there is no error? Because plus sign and minus sign are in unary operator as well. When I write 10, by default it is what? Plus 10, right? Though plus is not there, right? But plus operator is there. And that's why what happens is plus a is a, and again plus a is a. Minus a is a, and again minus on that is still what? So here what happens is minus a is minus a, but again you are applying minus on it, so it becomes what? Plus. So again you see the same value. Are you getting? समझ रहे? The effect on minus minus and plus plus is it's not changing the value, but it's just what? Unary plus and unary minus. Is it clear? Clear to everyone? Is this clear? Clear? Is everyone doing it? Just try it. Try to do minus a. You will see that it prints minus 10. Okay. And then when you do minus minus a, it prints what? Plus 10. Why? Minus a is minus 10. And again you are applying minus on it. So minus 10 becomes plus 10. Okay. So remember this. Plus plus minus minus is not there in Python. So if you want to increase by 1, there is only one way. That's the actual Python philosophy. If you go and read python.org, you will find somewhere that it has been mentioned that Python proposes a philosophy where it says that there has to be only one solution for a problem. So if you're trying to do something, right, there has to be only one optimized solution, and which should be the final one. So there should not be multiple solutions to the same thing. That's why Python doesn't have switch case. Python has only if-else if. It doesn't have switch case. And that's why Python doesn't support this, but it says if you want to increase by 1, do this. A plus equal 1. If you want to decrease by 1, do this. Now that philosophy is not followed exactly, because wherever they could follow, they have followed it. Wherever it's not possible, it's not followed. So a plus equal 1 will increase a by 1, a minus equal 1 will decrease a by 1. Do make sure that you are printing a again, otherwise you will say that value of a is 10 only. Is that clear? Clear to everyone? Then so this is about this compound assignment and unary arithmetic. There are other arithmetic operators like simple, plus, star, minus, division, modulus, all are there in Python also. Everything is there in Python. Okay. Then what new addition it did? It has done something like this. Do this and tell me what is the output. Five star star 2. Now tell me, 5 star star 5. It's a raise to. So it's a power function, or it's a power operator. It's a raise to operator. Okay. So in C we use power function, whereas here we will be using what? Star star. Then, so this is one addition that Python has done. Tell me output of this. 5 by 2 and 5 slash slash 2. 5 slash 2 is 2.5 and 5 slash slash 2 is 2.0 or 2. So you'll see output difference. Okay. But one need to understand, Python has added double slash, and in case of double slash, it is guaranteed that the division will be always floor division. The division will be always what? Floor division. That means if there is anything after decimal, that will not come. If there is anything after decimal, that will not come. In case of what? Double slash. So on mobile, on 2.x, on 3.7, you might find the difference in behavior. Okay. But you will not find the difference in the behavior of double slash. What is that? It's a floor division. So if I do 5 double slash 2 on 2.7, it might just print 2. On 3.x, it might print 2.0. Single slash, if it is printing 2, still it is fine, but it's not guaranteed that it will print 2. Okay. It's actually 2.5. Okay. कुठे? फ्लोट मध्ये कशाच्या केस मध्ये? Okay. do this. 5 by 2.0. Do 5 by 2.0 and do this on both. Because actually what happened, both were of type integer, right? So it made integer. And that's why we see that it is printing just 2. Now just give .0 to this and on both the machines or on with both the things and see the difference. So here you will see 2.5 and here you will see 2.0. Is that clear? Clear to everyone? Now again, this might not be useful. We might not be using any, I haven't used anywhere / unless and until you are going to do some mathematical stuff in Python, you will not need it. But we should be aware. Is that clear? Clear to everyone? Clear to everyone? So this is about the arithmetic operators. Then the second class that comes is, if you are done with the calculations, the next thing always comes is comparing that calculations with some reference values, so that you can decide on some action to be taken. Okay. So whenever you are done with calculations, like let's say there is so usually in an IT industry, the appraisal cycle is April or December, right? And April is usually effective from July, something like that. And every month we do some calculations. So whenever it is there, right, we do some calculations if it is increased by this. So we have some reference figure in our mind. If my salary increases by 1.5 lakh, I will stay here, otherwise I will leave, right? That calculation we do in our mind. What is that? So that 1.5 lakh, if you see, if that amount you see, you will have associated with your current salary, and that will turn out into a percentage, and you are doing what? Comparison. So when you got something actual in your hand, you will try to compare, right? And what is that comparison? Finding out relation, whether relation holds or doesn't hold, whether you will be in that company or you will be leaving that company. Okay, and that's why the next class comes is relational. So the next class of operators is what? Relational. See, it's again logical. The way this has been built or this has been evaluated, you'll try to, you can observe there is one storyline. What's the storyline? People wanted to do calculations. They wanted to perform calculations, and they were doing manually. So they thought that instead of doing manually, why not to have some electronic medium to perform the calculations, right? So they wanted to represent first numbers. Then they wanted to represent what? The symbols like plus, minus, multiply. So they did some calculations. So they came to arithmetic operators. So they derived arithmetic operators and the number system that came into picture. Now when they were able to do calculations, then they realized that this is not enough. I need to perform what? Comparison of these calculations with some reference values. And then they derived relational. Okay, and then the relational comes with greater, less than, greater equal, less than equal, not equal, equal equal. Now there is a deprecated way of not equal in 2.7. This is deprecated, it's present only in 2.7. Not equal is written like greater than and less than combined. It's there only in 2.7. All relational operators return true or false. Either relation holds or it doesn't hold. It is never like chalte, it's never like that. Okay, आपलं होतं, पण computer world में it's not like that. It's binary world, so it's either true or it's false. So these are the relational operators. Once you are done with arithmetic calculations, you find out the relation. You check with some references and then you realize whether relation holds or not. Right? Now, again, the example of appraisal process. So, in our mind we have one thing that, okay, my salary should rise by this much, and another thing is also there in our mind, or if I am promoted, I will stay here. So if you see, now you are trying to combine two relations. One relation is of salary, another relation is of promotion. So same story was applied when the evolution was happening. They were able to do calculations, they were able to now find out relation. But then they realized that they need to check that relation with multiple things as a reference, or multiple relations they wanted to combine together. And there came the next class, that is logical operators. So if you go by precedence level also, you will find that arithmetic has higher precedence, then it's relational, then it's logical. Their innovation or their evolution has also happened in that manner. So in logical we have and, or, and logical not. So and is, so we'll be using like this. Percentage greater than 10 and. Now actually Python has actually renamed them into English words. Instead of using this and, we should use English word and. So yeah, not single and, the English word and. Instead of using this and, or, and not of representation, they are replaced with English letters. So percentage greater than 10 and promoted. So let's say this is a true or false variable. Okay, so you will be combining two relations. So you make note of this, but when you are making note, you should make sure that in Python this is replaced with English and, this is replaced with English or, and this is replaced with English not. In other languages, they are like this. Or you will have something like this, percentage greater than 10 or promoted. So when you have an or condition, or sent to on-site, so those conditions will get added. Now it depends on whether it is how strict we are, whether we want it or and, that depends on us, and how frustrated we are with the manager. For students, the example is easy. If you are attending 12th standard, or let's say if you are completing your 10th, usually our parents will tell us that if you score 100 in mathematics and your percentages are greater than 90, we'll buy a bike for you. Otherwise what? Otherwise 11 number. That's by walking you will have to go. So it depends. So same thing applies to us also. Is that clear? Clear to everyone? So in case of logical operator, there is something which we should understand, and that we also do and system also does. So I'm just rubbing out this. Now let's consider the condition of this only. Percentage greater than 10, so it's a salary hike percentage, and promoted. Now when you get your letter, as your first condition is what? Percentage greater than 10. What you will do? You'll first check what? Percentage. You'll first check what? Percentage. If percentage is less than 10, will you go and check whether you are promoted or not? Or whether checking, will it have an effect on the end result? This is 0. Why 0? Because percentage is less than 10, right? Now, let this be 0 or 1. Let this be 0 or 1, right? The end result is going to be 0. Why? The first condition is 0. So whether it matters to check second condition if first condition is false in case of AND? Are you getting this? If first condition is itself false, there is no point in going and checking the second one. Right? Such type of evaluation is known as short circuit evaluation. ऐकलाय का शब्द? It's not short tempered. You might say, sir, 10% जरा जास्त होतात का? Now it depends on everyone's, what do you say, how much he has worked, how much he has contributed. It depends on that. So this percentage is something very relative. कारण एखाद्याला 50% दिल्यानंतर पण वाटतं की कमी आहे. So you cannot define that. It's a relative term. Is it clear? And same applies to OR also. If had it been OR, right, you check with percentage. If it is greater than 10 or equal, if it's greater than 10, will you bother about whether you are promoted or not? Are you understanding? Or will it have an effect on result? See, try to understand the truth table. Upon logic शिकतो आपण mathematics मध्ये. We learn logic in mathematics. If you can recall. P, Q, P and Q, P, R, Q. 1, 0, 1, 1, 0, 0, 0, 1. 1, 0, 0. इथे काय आणणार आहे? चला आपण आधी AND पूर्ण करू. 1, 1, 1, 0, 0. 1 or 0, 1, 1 or 1, 1, 0 or 0, 0, 0 or 1, 1. Can you recall this? Somewhere in 8th, 9th standard we learn this. Okay. Same is over here also. That same truth table comes into picture. Percentage was greater than 10. Salary hike percentage was greater than 10. So, if this is promoted or not, so if the condition Q, either it is 0 or 1, does it have any effect on the result? So, why to waste time in checking this? Because this itself is telling me what is going to be the result. So, again, in case of OR, if first condition is true, second condition is not evaluated. Is that clear? Clear to everyone? It's again known as what? Short circuit evaluation. Is that clear? Clear to everyone? And this NOT is like, if the result is false, NOT will make it true. If the result is true, NOT will make it false. It's basically a negation. तो वेगळा, तो tilde bitwise tilde. So don't get confused with this tilde sign and this NOT sign. This is logical NOT, or this English NOT is logical NOT, and this NOT is bitwise NOT. There is a considerable difference. Okay, this NOT will make anything which is true to 0, and this NOT, which it will make what? It will basically result into bit inversion. We'll see that. किती वाजले आता? Probably आज नाही तर मग next lecture मध्ये आपण बघूया. Okay, we'll see that. So, till now it's clear? Clear to everyone? Okay. The next class of operator that we learn, okay, while learning other languages is bitwise, which I will explain later. But there are two more additions that Python did to operators classes. Anyone aware? Yes. So identity and membership are the two class of operators that Python has added. So first one is identity. So identity is and is not, is and is not. Now go to your Python prompt, do a equal to 1 comma 2 comma 3, then do b equal to 1 comma 2 comma 3 and do c equal to a. So once you are done with this, tell me the output of this. A equal B, C equal B. It's true, right? Because they are same. They are having, if you look at value location, they are same, right? Now tell me the output of this. A is B, A is C, good. So can you tell me, we have seen this, what it must have compared? Location. It compared their identity. Yesterday we saw that function, right? ID of A, ID of B. We have seen that ID of A and ID of C will be same, right? But ID of B and ID of A is different, or ID of B and ID of C is different. So when you use is, it checks the identity. If the identity is same, it's bound that the values are also going to be same. But values same doesn't mean their identity is same. समझ रहे क्या? See, this is the layout. 1, 2, 3. Again 1, 2, 3. There is A pointing to this, C pointing to this, and B pointing to this. Okay, A equal B. This is value comparison. True. C equal B. True. Why? If you look at their respective index values, they are same. Okay, so you get output as true. Now when you do A is B, it is actually equivalent to ID of A equal ID of B. Now are their identities same? Their identities are not same. That's why the output is what? False. Whereas over here, ID of A equal ID of C. The answer is true. Why? Because A and C both are referring to same location. So your thinking is good. You're trying to catch the hack in Python, but Python is more smarter than us. So what happened? You took ID of A. Okay. Now you took that ID of A and you added into B. So B now started pointing to a memory location which contains the value of ID of A. And now if you try to use is, what will happen? B is pointing to a location which contains same ID of A, but B is pointing to a location which is different than ID of A. It has value as ID of A, but it is not ID of A. Let's do this. Okay. Now what you did? Let's take D, and you did D equal to, you did what? D equal to ID of A. Okay. So now D is pointing to a memory which has value as 1024, and it has its own location. Let's say it is 1200 or 1210. So when you do is, it actually checks this. It doesn't check this. Now you want to do what? It will never check the value. It will compare the reference where you are referring. If you are referring to same location, it's true. If you are not referring, it's false. Then whatever value you contain, whether you contain same value or different value. Now when it is returning true, that means you are referring same reference. So that means your values are also same. Getting it? First value comparison. This is a value comparison. This doesn't bother about what is your location. This bothers about your value. Is that clear? Clear to everyone? Clear to everyone? So, where you are getting false, right? Just try to apply is not, you will get it true. A is not B. If A and B both are not referring to same location, you will get is not as true. समझ रहे ना? It's simple. A is not B. If A and B both refer to different location, the output will be true. If they refer to same location, output will be false. So it's like a negation. Clear to everyone? Clear to everyone? This is useful. We'll be using it. Okay. And then comes the membership operator. So I hope you have noted it. Or I can actually rub this part also. So membership is in and not in. Again, Python has tried to get closer to English. That's why if you see is not is a valid English phrase and not in is a valid English phrase. If it had followed is not, it would have been in not. But it's not like that. It's not in. Okay. So what it does, it's a membership operator. It tries to check whether something is present in something. Like, if I want to check if H is there in hello. So this will return me what? True. Why? Because H is present in this. So the name itself suggests what it is, membership operator. That means it checks whether someone is member of something. So whatever you are giving, whether it is member in this or not. Excuse me. And same applies to not in. If it is present, it will give you false. Now it's quite useful when you want to filter out. Let's say you are receiving packets over network and you want to check if that packet is containing 0x9c, you want to filter it out. You want to parse them, others you want to ignore them. What you will do? If 0x9c in that packet that you have read, if it's there, process it, otherwise continue. Are you getting? So this is actually, this operator will work on containers because it is going to check what? Membership. Membership means something present in something. So something present in something should be what? A container, because this should contain, otherwise how you will validate? Is that clear? Clear to everyone? So is membership operators clear? Clear to everyone? Okay. Now one homework or one practice that you can do so that you don't need to spend more time on revision is creating memory map trees. They are very helpful and they are very easy to draw. It's just a start, so you can actually draw it and then that tree can grow bigger, and then it, for revision, it's just looking at that tree and your revision is done. Okay, have you ever drawn a memory map tree before this? Anyone? Okay, it's very simple. So if you had seen, right, I try to draw some circle and I'm trying to associate it. So let's say if you want to draw a memory map tree for Python, right? So you can have Python at base, and then, so it's actually a tree. So it will have multiple branches. So you can go to like this. So history, and then in history you can just write Guido von Rossum. Then you can just write major releases like 99, 2000, 2003, 2007, 2010. So you can just mention those references. Then after history, you can have data types. So in data types, you can have integer, float. Then you can carve out a container out of it, or you can have separately mentioned about containers. So in containers, you will write about string, list, tuple, dictionary. Now, whatever distinguishing thing you find about string, right? And if you see that string can itself become a bigger tree, you should actually carve it out and create a tree for it. So you just try to list down the bulleted points in single words in a tree form. So when you look at it, the whole picture comes in front of you. Okay. So once this is done, then you will have operators. So in operators, again you will do mention about arity. Now this word is actually simple. You will remember it. Just mention it, you will automatically remember it. Then comes what? Associative precedence. And associativity is actually associated with precedence. And then comes the classes. So in that you will just mention arithmetic and try to mention the differences. Then relational, logical, and like this you will keep on adding. Or you can actually have a operators tree separately where you just mention the about operators. This helps a lot for revision. Our pictorial memory is strong enough to remember. So try to do it. This will help surely. It has helped many. Okay. So try to do this. So you'll remember it. So in the next lecture, we'll first see bitwise operators. We'll just see an introduction to it, and then we will start with control flow. So from the next lecture, the actual programming should start, where we try to write function, okay, and do some programs. So try to revise whatever has been taught till date, and try to go through the shared book. The orally book you might find a bit slow, but you can just read it like a novel. Just go through it. Okay. Few points are very late mentioned in it. Few points are mentioned before. So just read it, and if you have any questions, any points that's not clear, just make note of them so that you can ask them in the lecture. So we'll just take the attendance. And one more thing that yesterday me and Pankaj we were able to find out was, so many of you might be trying to add that account to your pay list. So without that also you can do it. Without adding to pay list you can do it. But in that case you will have to do through IMPS MMID option. So through mobile app you have that option, or on online also you have that option of IMPS MMID. So I've already shared those details over email. The mobile number, you need their mobile number and MMID. So those details are already shared. So you can transfer it on that. So it immediately reflects actually. So it is same as UPI BMAP gateway. It's just that it is through MMID and the mobile number. Okay.